Hi there, today we're going to talk about percentiles. And percentiles, in regards to percentages, have a bit of a difference. So a percentage is more of an exact number, whereas a percentile is more like a group of various points of data within that spectrum. So if we take a look here at this little chart, we have 0 to 100. And the 70th percentile here essentially represents anything from 70 to 100. Now, the way to calculate a percentile is a specific equation. So your locator, your number that you are looking for from your index, and plus 1 here, as well as your locator number, what you're looking for. So in the regards to a percentile, if you want to find a percentile of 50, 50th percentile, you are going to have 50 here, which is going to end up being 50 over here. So 50 over 100. You can do it instead of a fraction with division. You can do it another way as well. All right, so when it comes to percentiles, there are other categories as well as decile and quartile. Decile is essentially breaking it down into parts of 10. So the 10th decile will be from 10%. Or when it comes to a quartile, you have it broken down into quarters. So here 25, 50, and 75. If you are in the third quartile, you're 75th percentile and above. Somewhere in that region. But we're not so worried when we register a percentile as the exact number the individual is. So if you have an A, B, C, and D group for grades, if you had a B grade, you're not going to try to get the highest grade out of it or try to squeeze the exact data. You just want a B as your mark. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to break apart some of this equation here, and we are going to look in our data set for a percentile of 30 out of this. So what we're doing here is we have our locator and we are looking for the 30th percentile. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug that 30 in because we're looking for a percentile, not quartile or decile just yet. This 30 is going to go over this 100 and make it 0.3. And our number of indices or indexes is 10. So we have 10 plus 1, so that's going to be 11 times by 0.3. That's going to bring us to 3.3. Now what we want to do is take our index number, 3, and because this is in between 3 and 4, we're going to grab these two numbers. So this 3 is moved here, and then our decimal remainder is moved here. So we are going to do 3 plus our 0.3 remainder, and then take our two values between 3 and 4 and subtract them. So 3 minus 3 is 0, times that by 0.3, that's 0. So our answer here is going to be 3 for the 30th percentile. Now give me 1 second, I'll get this cleaned up, and we'll go after the third quartile. This one is a little bit trippy for people too. When we talk about the third quartile, we need to talk about 75th percentile. Right there. So when you're going to find this, make sure that you remember what you're referring to. The same thing happens to decile, but we'll get there in a minute. Okay, so our locator is 75, so we need to put our 75 over our 100. 10 plus 1 is 11. So 11 times by 0.75 is going to be 8.25. If we come down here, we're going to take our 8 plus our remainder of 0.25 as we did before, and times it by those two places that we're looking at here. So 9 and 8. So between 8 and 9, so 8.25, 8, and we're in the middle there, and then we take that, and 8, we get a 1. So we get 0.25 as a result, and we end up with 8.25 yet again. So our answer for third quartile is going to be 8.25. All right, give me a second. I'll clean this magic up, and we'll move on to deciles. See you in a second. We are going to use with our locator a 20 for a decile of 2, because remember, deciles are for every 10% of the percentile. So we're looking at 20th percentile for decile 2. Just keep that in mind. All right, so again, we have our indices plus 1 and our percentile over 100, which brings us to 11 times by 0.2, which equals 2.2. And then we have our 2 here. We need to look at our indices here. So 2.2 is right about here. So we have 2 and 3. So we're going to have 3 minus 2 times by 0.2, and then adding our 2 from here. So what we come up with at the end is 2.2. That's the answer for second decile. Now, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And have yourselves a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. See you later.